This is the Season Long Podcast in support of the YouTube channel SeasonLongBaller. Hope you're having a wonderful MLK holiday, and hopefully you get the day off. I know everyone doesn't get the day off, but hopefully, even if you don't have it off, you do get a chance to relax and rest. So we'll jump right on into this podcast, and we're doing something a little bit different for this podcast. We'll be shooting around a little bit here in the background, trying to make sure we're getting that shot in order, as we've got the Detroit Pistons later on MLK. And make sure you join us for that as the Wizards take on the Pistons at home. And we'll talk about the rest of the week in just a bit. But for now, we will review the week that just happened, where we kicked off things against the Oklahoma City Thunder. A 57-41 victory over the Thunder, where the Thunder only shot 38% from the field and 17% from deep, while the Wizards were closer to 50%, going 22 out of 45 from the field and 7 out of 20 from deep. And that was really the biggest difference in the game. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander did not kill us, which I was expecting the entire game. He scored 17 points, went 8 out of 18, only 1 out of 2 from deep. And no one else, as you can see, no one else on the Thunder was in double digits. Shai had 17. The second leading scorer was the just recently acquired Larry Nance Jr., who only had 5. Now, we do play 6-minute quarters on SeasonLongBaller, but 5 points on 1 out of 5 shooting, mind you, from Larry Nance Jr. is still really, really low. Shai with 17 and your second leading scorer, Nance Jr., with only 5. And the Wizards were shooting much better. Summerz with 29, but no other double-digit scorer there either. Summerz was 10 out of 19 from the field and pulled down 9 rebounds. DeLon Wright was the second leading scorer with 8 points. And you'll see Kyle Kuzma continuing to struggle with his shot. 2 out of 13 from the field, 0 for 8 from deep, and he only had 4 points. Now, the next matchup, it's our familiar foe, the Indiana Pacers. And I can honestly say nothing against the Pacers or their fans, of course, but I'm glad that we are finished playing them in the regular season, at least. We played them, as you know, 4 times last season on NBA 2K23. They were our first round opponent. They were the 8 seed when the Wizards were the 1 seed. So we played them 4 more times last season. And now, before we even get out of January, we've already played them 4 times. And for the record, the Wizards and Pacers split the season series this season. Last season on NBA 2K23, the Wizards and the Pacers and myself split. We actually swept the Pacers 4-0 in the regular season and then 4-0 in the regular season. But 66-52 this time. Wizards shot 54% from the field. As you notice, only missed 1 free throw, 11 out of 12 there. The Pacers were 48% from the field, and that was the biggest difference in the game, with the Wizards there with 36 points in the paint to the Pacers 20. And that is a direct reflection of Miles Turner being injured. Miles Turner and Buddy Hield did not play in this game, so I guess it could be a little disconcerting that the Wizards only won the game by 4, despite those 2 big guns missing from the Pacers lineup. But those 36 points in the paint and the Wizards winning the rebound battle 28-21 really speaks to Miles Turner not being there when the Wizards were scoring inside. And the Wizards really weren't lighting it up from deep, only 5 out of 16. So Miles Turner's absence played a big role in this game. After that, our third and final game of the week was against the Atlanta Hawks, our nemesis, as you know I like to joke. The Wizards took this one 66-59, a late turn of events in the fourth quarter changed that game. Jaymont Summerz made a couple of key plays. Our player build, 6'5" point guard out of William & Mary. That build is in the description below. We built it back on NBA 2K23 last season. And of course, you can't really port it over to NBA 2K24. So we rebuilt it, and Jaymont Summerz is our player build. Summerz took over really late in the fourth quarter to really blunt a Hawks rally right when they had got back into the game. And the Wizards take the 66-59 victory. A little bit closer maybe than the score indicates, but the Hawks and the Wizards always have major battles. But right before this game, the Hawks in our simulation traded Clint Capella. Capella has given us problems in the past, killing us on the offensive glass, giving the Hawks several second chance points opportunities. But a little bit different with him gone and Okongwu now moving into the starting lineup. He was coming off the bench and would kill us as well. So there's a drop off there in terms of the offensive rebounding for the Hawks. And that was a major problem we've always had with them. And in this game, the Hawks were only 42% from the field. So those extra second chance points would have really played a big role as the Wizards slightly out-rebound the Hawks 28-27 in this game. And the Wizards also had Jaymont Summerz leading the scoring with 36. Daniel Gafford had 12. And that was basically the big difference in this game. Now, Trae Young was off in this game, and that provided a lot of the difference. But again, if Trae Young is off and you've got Clint Capella getting all those offensive rebounds, that really does change things. And it'll be interesting to see the next time, because we're not finished playing the Hawks yet. It'll be interesting to see next time when we do play the Hawks for the final time in the regular season. Hawks, of course, being a Southeast Division rival. So taking a quick look at some of the other stats that we don't always talk about with the Wizards and our player build, Jaymont Summerz. Summerz is leading the league right now in plus minus at 7.9. Summerz also leads the league in double-doubles with 8, and you see Giannis Antetokounmpo with 5 in second place. And you may also notice there that only 2 players right now have triple-doubles in a game, and that is Jaymont Summerz with 1 and Nikola Jokic, Joker, of course, the center for the Denver Nuggets. He has 1 as well. Taking a quick look at your standings, the Wizards are 30-8, and right now are in first place in the East. The Knicks, who have who we will be playing later on this week. So definitely stick around, because it'll be, again, another 1-2 matchup. We lost to the Knicks back on January 6th, 58-51, and beat the Knicks by that exact same score, 58-51, back on November 17th. So the two teams have split 1-1, and the two teams are still running first and second in the East. And we will be playing the Knicks a little bit later on. We'll talk about that as well. Out west, it's the Lakers who are the 1 seed, followed by the Mavericks, the Warriors, Pelicans, Nuggets, Clippers, Trailblazers, and Thunder. That's your top 8 out west. Lakers are 24-15. Now, the player of the month has been basically dominated in the East by Jaymont Summerz. He's won both awards, November and December. So our player build, again, we are doing well. Yes, we do shoot the ball more than anyone, but we are leading the league in assists, and we are top 10 in rebounds while we're leading the league in scoring. And we're shooting a high percentage as well. We're in the top 10 in shooting percentage. So considering that the lack of other weapons that the Wizards have, no, I'm not really going to apologize for shooting that much. Besides, you're going to play the game, you're going to shoot, right? The player of the week, you'll notice that Jaymont Summerz started off the year winning 3 of them in a row. He has won more than any other player, despite the fact out west that Joker and Luka Doncic have won a fair share out west. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from the Thunder has also won a couple. But it is Summerz who has won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times so far this season. And he was leading, as we took a look last week in our when we took a look at the player award races. Summerz was leading in the MVP vote getting. Quickly for the Rookie of the Month, it's Brandon Miller, November and December for the Charlotte Hornets. And then out west is Victor Wembanyama. Wemby right there is leading the Western Conference. And we will be playing the Spurs here soon, so I better get used to pronouncing that name. Wembanyama. There we go. So Victor will be visiting D.C. not too long from now, and Wizards will be taking on the Spurs. Taking a quick look at your injury list, we mentioned Miles Turner. There you see he is out 1 to 2 months with a torn right elbow ligament. And the Pistons, who we will be playing a little bit later on, you see Bogdanović is out with a broken right leg. That sounds real painful. He is out 2 to 4 weeks, so he will not be playing when we take on the Pistons just a little bit later on. While we're around shooting, remember that we do use the push release. We experimented a little bit earlier in the season, which release we liked better. We went with the push release, and I think it has been doing well. Summer shooting over 55% from the field, has been staying generally at least 45% from deep. So I think the push release has been going well. And right now, I am really trying to work on that bank shot. You may notice I am really trying to get that bank shot to fall. So maybe that will come up in an occasion where we will need that in a game. So finally, taking a look at what's coming up this week. Later on MLK, as I've mentioned, we will be taking on the Detroit Pistons in the district. Then another Eastern Conference showdown, 1 versus 2 again. The New York Knicks, this time in Madison Square. So that will be that'll be a great game. You've got to tune in for that one. That will take place on Thursday, and then 2 big men coming to DC. Wemby coming on Saturday, which we mentioned a little bit earlier, and then on Sunday, Joker comes to town with the Denver Nuggets. So we've got a great week coming up, starting with the Pistons here later on today. Hope you join us. And then 1 versus 2 on Thursday with the Wizards and the Knicks. Then the Spurs and Wemby, right now leading Rookie of the Year candidate. And then finally, probably the best player on earth right now, Joker and the Denver Nuggets on Saturday, or actually on Sunday. Wemby's on Saturday. All right, thank you for listening and watching our slightly different podcast this time as we were shooting around. I hope you enjoyed that. That's going to do it for this edition, number 43 of the Season Long Podcast. Enjoy the rest of your day. Check us out as we take on the Detroit Pistons a little bit later on. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace.